Did the perpetrators of 9/11 choose that day because it was the emergency number, or was that just an unhappy coincidence? Not only were all their plans in place for that day, but it was chosen to be a Tuesday because that's the day their selected flights were emptiest, a less chance of passenger resistance. In mid-September, when schools are all recently back, so personal travel is at its lowest. The date itself is coincidence. The latter, and bear in mind that the US is one of the only countries to use month A. To most of the rest of the world, that was 109. There have been reasons for the date, but the emergency number matching that was just coincidence? Mind you, for the rest of the world the date was 1109, but here in New Zealand we watched it live and unfolding on the 1209. The London bombings of 2005 occurred on 7th July, i.e., 77. The date was chosen not to confuse other countries, or so I am told. Coincidence. To execute a plan just due to a calendar date puts too many assumptions on every other variable for success being correct. Everything just happened to be in place for that day. The real question is, why would they care about the emergency number? Not sure if coincidence, but 9/11 was also election day in NYC. I remember when mom started picking up kids after the first tower hit and the sky was turning gray. I snottily told everyone in class that the parents were just picking up kids because they didn't want to come back after voting my school was a polling place. Until my mom came to pick me up, which she would've never done. I was just listening to a podcast, the rest is history, and learned on September 11, 1683 that the conquering armies of Islam were met, held, and thrown back at the gates of Vienna. Bin Laden was obsessed with this loss and chose that date because of this. It's a good listen. For the rest of the world it's 109. Coincidence. For the majority of the world, that date would be written as 119, so it's doubtful that it was considered. Obviously everyone knows that specific date as 9/11 now though. It's more likely they chose it BC, it's the National Kebab Day in Sweden. For everyone else, the date is 11th of Sept, 11-9. No cloud cover over eastern half of the USA. They could see where they wanted to go. No one knows for sure why they chose 911 specifically. The emergency number is a popular theory though. However, another one is that it was chosen because of the Christian coalition victory in the Battle of Vienna on September 11, 1683, which Al-Qaeda allegedly saw as the turning point in history in favor of the West. Others say they had no planning for the specific date and it just happened to be the time. No, it was planned for 910, but the weather was bad. Christopher Hitchens speculated that it was chosen because of the events of September 11, 1683. That was when all of the armies of Islam gathered to lay siege to the Holy Roman Empire at the Battle of Vienna were defeated. Osama bin Laden previously mentioned this event, believing it to be a turning point in which the West gained dominance over Islam. The battle was a major failure for the Ottoman Empire. Who else remembers that font? I think ironically called Wingdings, which is crazy in itself, which was 100 already built into people's word editing software on their PCs. When you typed in 9/11 on the font, it came up with a picture of 2 tower blocks and a plane. Also 11 itself looks like 2 towers. A lot of coincidences there. For the pretty much the rest of the world, dates are written day month, so it would have been 119 for them. Belize and Micronesia are the only other countries that use the month then days format.